DoS and DDoS attacks. First of all, what are these acronyms? A DoS, a denial of service attack, tries to make a web resource unavailable to its users by flooding the target URL with more requests than the server can handle. That means during the attack period, regular traffic on the, for example, website will be either slowed down or completely interrupted. A DDoS, a distributed denial of service attack, is a DOS attack from more than one resource at the same time. A DDoS attack is typically generated using thousands, even hundreds of thousands, of unsuspecting zombie devices. These machines are collectively known as botnets and will have been previously infected with malicious software so that they can be remotely controlled by the attacker. It is currently estimated that worldwide, millions of computers are at this point infected with botnet programs. But let's see how all this works. We'll take a classic example with our hacker Eve and the unsuspecting Bob, who is the owner of a small online shop. Eve wants to take Bob's shop down, and she's planning to use a HTTP flood to accomplish it. An HTTP flood is an attack similar to pressing, let's say, refresh in a web browser over and over on many different computers at once. Large numbers of HTTP requests flood the server, resulting in a denial of service. Of course, this type of attack ranges from simple to complex. Simpler implementations may access one URL with the same range of attacking IP addresses, referrers, and user agents. Complex versions may use a large number of attacking IP addresses and target random URLs using random referrers and user agents. Now let's go a bit deeper in our example. Let's imagine you make a bunch of requests. And if a real customer wants to access Bob's shop, he/she will not be able because Eve's bots are overloading the servers. Since it's probably not very clear how this works, let's imagine you have a small physical shop and I send 50 fake customers at the same time to enter your shop. And then there is another real customer that wants to enter and buy, but he or she will need to wait for a long time or maybe not even make it inside the shop. HTTP flood works in a very similar way, where the server where Bob's shop is hosted can only serve a maximum number of simultaneous requests, and if Eve's bots reach that limit, the shop will not be available for the actual real customers. Types of attacks. Here we have 5 main categories. Since they are quite complex, in the description you may find some words that you're not familiar with. For you, we're going to explain all those terms in the notes together with some links with further information. First, HTTP flood. This was the attack from our example and we're not going to spend some extra time on it. In big lines, this translates into a large number of HTTP requests that flood the server or servers, resulting in a denial of service. Second, protocol attacks. Also known as a state exhaustion attack. This causes a service disruption by consuming all the available state table capacity of web application servers or intermediate resources like firewalls and load balancers. Protocol attacks utilizes weaknesses in layer 3 and layer 4 of the protocol stack to render the target inaccessible. Third, SIN flood is an analog to a worker in a supply room receiving requests from the front of the store. The worker receives a request, goes and gets the package and waits for the confirmation before bringing the package out in front. The worker then gets many more package requests without confirmation until they can't carry any more packages, becoming overwhelmed, and requests start going unanswered. Fourth, volumetric attacks. This category of attacks attempts to create congestion by consuming all available bandwidth between the target and the larger internet. Large amounts of data are sent to a target by using a form of amplification or another means of creating massive traffic such as requests from a botnet. Fifth, a DNS amplification is like if someone were to call a restaurant and say, "I'll have one of everything, please call me back and tell me my whole order again," where the callback phone number they give is the target's number. With very little effort, a long response is generated. This concludes our lecture. You will find the links with further information in the DDoS text file from the resource section. Thank you and see you soon in our next chapter.